Hey guys, what's up? It's your friendly neighborhood Carl with another video. We're going to talk about metadata. It's a very heady sounding term. Sciencey, metadata? What the heck is metadata? Well, metadata is your friend if you know how to use it. Have you ever been sitting around and you're going to drop something into Audio Vault and you're like in a hurry or whatever, or you just have a bunch of stuff to do and you don't want to have to get up from your office, walk into Audio Vault and go, okay, now here's this file that's in the downloads folder, and now let me go in and put my title in and put my start and kill date, move it to this folder. Have you ever wished you could just do that in Audition and then just drop it in and it goes right where you want it to go with the right start kill dates, right title, blah, blah, blah? Now you can with the miracle of metadata. So this took me a while to figure out. This was like the holy grail for me for a while, and I finally got it figured out. I use it all the time with my show and with my automation, and especially it's super handy if there's a emergency on the weekends or something and I have to download files and get them in and get them to the right place, blah, blah, blah. It comes in super handy. That's all I'm trying to say. So let me just show you how to do it. Here's an automation break I recorded. What I'm going to do with it, go up to Window, Metadata. It's also on Mac, the shortcut is Command P. It's probably like Control P or something on Windows. I don't know. Anyway, that brings up this metadata window. So if you go over to Cart, I'm going to just go down the list of here. The title, this translates to description in Audio Vault. Cut ID. This is the cut ID that Audio Vault looks for when if you record automation or voice tracking, you recognize this. Wednesday, 1348. That's the 148 break. Also, if this were like a promo, this would be the the 6 character like ATCTUE or sci-fry. I mean, we all know those. So that's what cut ID is. I mean, yeah. I also just title the file itself that just because. Then client ID, we don't mess with that. Category, we don't use this at all. Classification, this is the folder. The 3-character folder code. So VTK, that's the voice track folder. If I wanted this to go in the promos folder, I'd go PRO. If I wanted it to go in Funder Audio, it'd be FDR, I think. If I wanted it to go in Edit List Macros, ELM. You're probably only working with a couple folders, so if you just commit those to memory or just make a note on your phone or tattoo it on your arm. So anyway, this one is a voice track spot, so it goes in voice track. Also, you got your start date and your end date. The universal code, and it says it right here on the screen. To signify an immediate start date, applications use 1900-01-01. If you put in 19-/01/01, when this gets dropped into Audio Vault, it just doesn't put anything in the starter kill date. Let me clarify this. Okay, there are certain Audio Vault will only recognize an interface with this if you put in the minimum amount of metadata items here. Those items are, it has to have a title, it has to have a cut ID, it has to have a classification, it has to have a start and an end date. So those are the 5 things, and I experimented with this, and it took me some frustrated mornings to figure out why it wouldn't accept it sometimes. But it has to have these 5 items, and then it'll grab it, it'll accept it, it'll go, oh, okay, this is what you meant, and then it'll throw it in the right place. So if you do that, and then you save this, then what you want to do with this file is here's the transfer folder, and I'm on Mac, so this, it's a little different interface, but same basic thing on Windows. You go to the transfer folder. Have you ever wondered what the fudge that metadata import folder is in there? That's the thing that I made that interfaces with it's a different importing program so like if you just drop a file into here, transfer, there's the AVFTP server that sucks in that file, and it just by default dumps it in the newsroom download, which is fine for, a lot of things. But if you're doing a lot of production work or voice tracking or whatever, metadata import, you'd grab that file, you drop it into metadata import. And I'll take this second to mention something else here. Holding bay. What is this all about, right? Okay, well, these folders are set to ingest stuff every 30 seconds, right? That's great. We don't want it to sit and wait forever. If we're on a deadline, we're trying to get stuff done. We want it to be looking for stuff every 30 seconds. But if you're dropping in like a whole shift's worth of automation, like 11 spots or whatever, you don't want to run the risk of having a file like halfway in there and getting chopped off, because that can happen with long files. It'll try to ingest it when it hasn't even fully transferred in yet, and then you get a file that's cut off. If you've ever had that happen on a program, you're like, why isn't the last half of the show here? That's what's happening. So that's where I developed this method. It doesn't have to be called holding bay. I just do that to be whatever. So you just put it in a folder within the watch folder that importer is looking at. So if I've got 11 breaks here, I grab all 11 and I drop them into a folder within the metadata import folder. And then once they all transfer into that folder, then all I do is I just grab, let's say these are the breaks, I just grab all of those and I drop them into that metadata import folder. Now I know that seems like, what? So basically putting it in a folder within the folder that's getting watched, and then taking it from that folder and dropping it in. And the way that a file system works is it just changes where it's looking for that file, so that is instantaneous rather than waiting for it to transfer, if that makes sense. I can always clarify further in person if you're like, hey Carl, what the hell were you talking about? I'll be happy to elaborate. But that's how you get around that if you have a really long file, like an hour-long file, or if you just have lots of files. Drop them in a holding bay first, then drop them into that import. And those folders have to be within the same directory tree for that to work like that. So that's that. Understand? Cool. So in this case, this file that I put the metadata in, once it goes into the metadata import and it gets ingested, then you'll be able to walk over to Audio Vault and check it out. And oh my God, you will find it it won't be in the downloads folder, it'll be in the voice track folder, and it'll have a start date of nothing, because if you put this 1900-0101, it just will not put it. You still have to put that, otherwise it won't take it in. But if you want it to have, the final Audio Vault file to not have a start date or a kill date, you would have to put 1900-0101, because that's the default, and it says it right there on the screen in case you forget. And the end date, if you want no kill date on it, the date is 9999-1231. It's right there in case you forget. But this I just, to keep things organized, I put the actual kill date that I wanted on this. So that's how you do it. Oh my God, now you know how to do that. You don't have to walk your lazy body down to Audio Vault, because any saved time here is a beautiful thing. That's how to use metadata.